Verdes After Dark, featuring
Hello, welcome.
Aggie, Garrett, Richie, and Pollo.
Where's Pollo?
Oh, yeah, we forgot the chicken.
He's here.
He's here under the table. What has he been doing the whole time?
Esto es Otra, por favor. This is one more, please. Welcome to Otra, por favor. My name is Richie, and thank you to everyone out there that checks out our episode, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Golz TV. We greatly appreciate you guys. A full house today, something different. We did a couple of changes, a couple of different setups. And so you know what? Why not just go with whatever we got? And I'm a type of person that like to work like that. I have pretty much representatives of 3 different groups or organizations, and they all came together for a cause, which is pretty awesome. The cause is they are collaborating on a beer called Pollo Pilz. So Austin Beerworks is the one that's brewing the beer. Is that right?
That's correct.
So Pollo, I have with me is Trevor, the Pollo Daddy.
And then actual Pollo.
Daddy.
And with actual Pollo, I also have Todd with Fighting Leslie's Drinking Club, and Graham. Garrett Graham.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know why I always think of you as, I always just say Graham, and they were
That's
like,
okay.
"Who's Graham?" I'm
That's
like,
fine.
"Oh, Garrett."
Like you're at work. Yeah.
I'm the worst at butchering names.
That's okay.
But no, you guys.
That is my name, so it's okay.
There you go. See,
It's
like,
better than what we call them.
Yeah. I don't know
It's
what you
always
call
me. I just wait for
but no, it's so a little bit about Fighting Pollo Pilz is a brewery, a collaboration that is done for the Mobile Loaves and Fishes Community First Village that it's currently provides shelter for 354 million Austinites. They are a village that is expanding at the moment, and they're planning to add 127 acres, which will house a total of 1,900 homes, or have a space for 1,900 homes. And I really want to get into jump into this collaboration before we go into all the banter and all the shit talk that we're gonna do. I want to first hear about it and get to know more about it, how this idea came about. Let's start with Pollo.
I think the idea came about just, were we like playing soccer, or were we just hanging out drinking or something? And then
It was
we were
a
like,
combination
dude,
of
let's make a
both, I think.
beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of the things that happen. You just end up drinking,
Yeah.
and then this
we
guy.
had Pollo's first birthday, and then there was nothing really. It was a big deal, but it wasn't like we could have made it to. And then I was like, all right, let's make this a big deal next year for Pollo's second birthday.
That was the origin story.
And that was kind of like how it started off and everything like that.
And then this was your recipe.
Yes. Yeah, so my recipe.
You were like, I have a recipe, and I was like, well,
Nice.
okay, well, let's make a beer.
Yeah.
I happen to work at a brewery, and you were
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah,
And
and then
like,
I got
okay.
the owners for Austin Beerworks on board with the cause and everything like that, and they said that they were willing to support making this beer, and we have a cool artist that did an awesome job and everything like that.
Joey Souza.
Yeah, Joey
Originally
Souza.
from Oregon, but he's been in Austin for, I think, 3 years now.
Yeah.
He's in a metal band doing like a promo for Joey now.
Yeah. Now you're
He's
doing a promo
awesome.
for Joey, but he's
Yeah,
an
sorry.
awesome dude.
He's
So
awesome.
Hell
Not
yeah.
only-
He did some great work, and it was very helpful.
He did
Yeah.
the
In the
Pollo
project
scarf,
along the
Pollo
way.
shirt,
Yeah, the Pollo
the
shirt.
can. He's done awesome stuff, and he's been really awesome to work with. So, yeah, I had to give him a shout out.
So
And then Finding Leslie's, once these two got together and talked about, a beer for Pollo's birthday, what was, I want to be a part of it too.
Well, we have kind of been friends along with a lot, we all met when this thing got started 3
Mhm.
years ago, and we've been slowly getting together and doing stuff. And it's two separate, not really supporter groups, kind of private groups within the SG community. And we both kind of look at things a lot of the similarly.
I like it.
I kind of look at them as the farm team, like they're what we would have been if we were younger.
Okay.
And we have a lot of the same thoughts about things, and we just thought it would be cool to collaborate on things together. We did a scarf after the first season with Los Verdes, and that was the first time we ever collaborated with another group. And the three of us have been talking about, and all of their Pollo guys, we've just been talking about how we should do something together. And of course, being a drinking club and us all like it, those were options that we, thought would make a good collaboration at some point.
Why not make a drinking club beer?
Yeah,
a drinking club beer. And just,
beer.
Me and Trevor,
some dude works at the brewery, so
that was
cool.
the
If you can get a little closer to the mic here.
So how it all started was like, it was me and him first talking, and then I kind of met Aggie along with Trevor and everything like that. And then we're just like, well, we have Pollo that's pretty big in the Austin community, and then we're already drinking at breweries and stuff like that. Why don't we get these guys on board as well? And then also Aggie had a good cause for all this proceeds to go to, so we kind of put it towards that, and that's kind of how the whole origin story kind of came about.
And I think the Beerworks ownership was very positive and directive in where the funds for this event or this project were going to go. And I think they were really supportive of the community first idea, which also helped, in our favor.
I was cool that they were supportive of doing a community first beer, because that was also a thought. We were like, are they even going to allow us to make a beer for
that was that was a concern
for an at-risk community that might be
maybe suffering from a lot of alcoholism. And so is that
there was definitely a concern there.
No, we're cool taking those proceeds, and as long as we're conscious of that
when we were trying to determine or come up with ideas of what we would do this for, the Beerworks guys were pretty supportive and wanted to direct it in that direction, and we weren't sure, so we called the Mobile Loaves people. Alan Graham has been very friendly to us along the way. We've done some projects with them in mind, and he's been very supportive, and we have some people in the group that work with him, and Tracy and Courtney and all of them over there have all just loved their they actually like Austin FC. And of course, Leslie means a lot to them. And so I was a little nervous about calling him and saying, hey, we have this great idea for a fundraiser, but we're going to sell beer to do it. And he jumped in with both feet, didn't even hesitate. Was like, I love the idea. I'm all in. What do we have to do? And so we're grateful to him also for allowing us to bring this tomfoolery forward in their name. Yeah,
that's what for me. I find it quite intriguing and interesting how you guys thought about the alcoholism problem that might be for unhousing people, because there's people that are suffering. We don't know what they're going through. We don't know what's going on. But the way I'm thinking about this is you're putting a group of people that at the end of the day they just want to have fun and they want to create something good. And I think when there's good intentions behind it, everything works out well. Yeah. Like the way you guys are trying to do it, where I see the communication. I mean, I'm part of the group message that we have when we put the skit together. And by the way, thank you guys for allowing me to edit it and put it together.
You did an amazing job.
Thank you for
thank you for doing it.
Thank you guys. Thank you. And shooting, and that was awesome.
And like I would say, whenever there's something not ill will, but there's something good behind a cause, it doesn't matter where it comes from. I mean, of course, it has to be legal, but it's always going to work out for the best. Yeah. And that's great. I think a lot of the times, we sometimes find ourselves limiting to like, man, what if, this doesn't work out because of this situation? But at the end of the day, I think you have to find, your way to dive into that part. And somehow at the end of the day, you're doing it for a good cause. You're doing it for housing, for a problem that's been going on in Austin, and not just in Austin, but like in the entire nation. So tackling,
Since
even if it's a
people have
small
been
piece,
communally
Yeah.
living,
Yeah.
right? Societies.
Yeah.
It's not a simple issue.
It makes those hard
to
moments
handle
easier
with.
to deal with whenever we're wanting to like fight each other and we're like, "Ugh, I'm tired of working with you." Like, and then you're just like, all right, well, it's for a good cause.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't walk out of here. So then I'm stuck here. Like, I'm already hit the moment where I'm like, I can't storm out because they're blocking the door. So I guess I'm going to stick through this one.
No, but this project has been super cool, and to watch just the whole thing come, like there's just all of this stuff behind the scenes. I can imagine even a bigger project than this, just all the stuff that goes on, and like, oh man, it's so cool. Again, thank you for all the.
hey man,
That was one of the
That was
things
awesome.
too that I think
Community
works
coming
well
together.
in these groups is that while we are supporting the soccer team and we're both trying to find ways to support the community,
Mhm.
the common voice I think behind both groups also is to enjoy yourself and be cool to other people. And
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
it's something that we've aligned with for a couple of years since we started knowing each other, and it works. I feel like it works.
I'm looking forward to it. By the way, the beer will be released in the watch party at Awesome Beerworks on September 30th. Limited quantities, so get there early.
But still come.
And don't be and still
Yeah.
come and don't be DMing Pollo because he would not respond.
Yeah.
Be hungover.
Be hungover. Yeah, exactly.
Even at the event.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. I saw the design of the can and it looks pretty badass. I'm looking forward to tasting the beer. I like beer myself, so I'm gonna have to buy a couple. Like
Still have a
6
little ways
packs.
until it's not even. No one's really tasted it yet. How long until we're done?
It's in the fermentation process right now. So it will be ready for tasting within, probably this week or next week. Well, actually, we're packaging it next week. So yeah, it's good to taste now. I just haven't been at work this week, so yeah.
I just
we
cleared
could-
my calendar for
we
for
could go
tomorrow
go
night,
taste it
and
right now.
I'm
For
good.
tasting day.
I'm good for tasting it.
Let's go.
Let's go. and
This was nice. All right, see y'all later.
and the one thing like I wanted to have all you guys together in my space is because the podcast is about football, vida and cultura, and literally what you guys are doing represents all three of those. The football, which is Austin FC, and having fun playing, Pollo FC having their teams on Mondays, and then Liga Verde, which we're gonna kick their ass because Murga.
All right, here we go.
And then also life. We're doing something for someone's well-being or striving to add something to the cause. There's a big problem out there. And for me, the best way to contribute is not by talking shit sometimes, but also doing something. You guys are doing that. And then the culture, like just bringing the people together. I mean, Fighting Leslie's, Pollo, how many people come in and just are behind all of that. And I'm pretty sure everyone that follows those groups, and even outside of those two groups, we're pretty excited about it. I saw the comments, and I saw like the input from everyone after the skit, and it was like pretty badass.
It seemed like it was well received.
Yeah,
People were pretty
yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, and also it's been a pretty troubling sort of season for the team. So having stuff like this kind of brings,
Helps out to cheer everyone up and everything like that.
Yeah. It cheers everybody up, and also it somehow makes it at the end of the day. You know what? The team does what they can, but it's everyone out here. We all have problems, we all have differences, but hey, when I come in, hang out, have a beer, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
My whole view with this whole team was that, it is an Austin team. It's community, and it's about a disconnect from the world. This is supposed to be a place where you can escape, have fun, connect with friends, just kind of do whatever for that 90 minutes. And then you can walk to your car, and then as you get closer and start to drive, as the euphoria wears away, then you can be like, oh, I have work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. But to not lose that focus, and then have your escape be tarnished and blackened and turned negative it's really important to try to focus on that original feeling of when we all came together and when our team was absolute garbage, but we didn't care, but we were like that's cool. We have a
Yeah,
team, and like coming off COVID, and we didn't have each other for a long time, and like having a group, having a community, having a team, even if we're bad, like it's still cool. Like, of course we want to win. Like, I feel like that's a dumb discussion to be like, I want to win. Be like, whoa.
Well,
Crazy.
and
I don't think anyone's gonna be like, whoa, I had no idea. Like, I'm sorry. Well, let's fix this then. Like, my bad. Like, I don't like that's kind of feel like you're getting in the weeds, but yeah.
And as fans for a club, we're as new as the club, right? I mean,
Brand new culture.
Austin has never had a unified voice, right? There's never been something that all of Austin could speak for, right? Growing up, an Austinite was you know,
we've had that for so long.
Austin was like nonconformist by definition growing up, right? Even before I was born, that was kind of the way, right? You were different from everybody else, and that's what it was celebrated. And so you wanted to be a different voice from the person next to you, right? There was never anything, you know, there's a college here that doesn't represent the town, it represents itself. And there's been things to come and go, but there's never been a voice for all of Austin. And that's what's been cool for me, is that Austin and being in this Verde movement it's a true unification of all of the things in Austin, you know, the economic statuses, which side of town you live on, you know, what culture you may have come from, or, you know, that's what Austin FC is all about. It's about Austin FC, and it's about that voice. And even if it's just for 90 minutes, it is a way to kind of forget some of the differences and truly unite, which is new to Austin. So it's not only have we never had pro sports, we've never had a unifying voice. So it's a mixture of really new things for people trying to figure out, you know,
and new feelings. Even when we're bad, the feeling of McCalla is different than the feeling of DKR, even in 05 and 09. Like, that place is just special. It's not like anything else, and it's hard to describe because everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone always talks their team up, but it's just different.
But are we talking about McCalla or DKR?
DKR,
being special.
Man. It's just
like, because now we can find it out. Oh, okay. No, okay, yeah. Sorry, I got lost in that one.
They put in DKR, like, it doesn't feel the same as McCalla, and that energy that they created in that place is special, and it's really cool.
Well, we or y'all, because we don't sit in the South End, but I think what made it special was exactly what we're talking about, everyone coming together to make it special.
And La Murga.
The club, La Murga, right? Los Verdes, the anthem, Cinco, 5-1, you know, Los Cinco, 5-1-2. Like, everyone works hard at that and has from day one. Like, when we showed up day one, it was on. And the club, I'm sure is involved and helps and whatever, but they didn't make the atmosphere. No. Right.
It was a community.
That was a community effort. And that's shows, I think, how special Austin is and why this is working out so well. I agree with that. I think it was right during the pandemic, so it was hard to get people involved. But I think as the season started coming, people started just trying to get involved one way or another. But then I've gotten to experience the team in different aspects. The first year was more of experiencing as an spectator. The second year was, you know, doing media for La Murga, and then this year is doing more media, but for myself. But it's even like, say, looking at, like, you know, the media person out there in the you know, in the press box, the photographers, how many outlets there is about Austin FC. I don't know about the other, you know, teams in the MLS, but for a team that's only been here for 3 years, there's a good amount of content for everyone. Have you found your own perspectives changing over those 3 years of what you're covering and how you're covering it and the things you're focusing on or even realizing in yourself? Like, are you seeing growth in your own coverage or what you're looking for or how you're going about it?
Yeah. So that's a good question because I've never really I probably talked about it, but first year, you're doing this more so like as a hangout and type of like a hobby.
Hey, I'm still doing it.
Yeah, there you go. And then you're looking at year 2, you're doing it with La Murga. You have the media credential. The credential, you have to be unbiased. So you're struggling to find yourself to be unbiased, but still shoot for a supporter team. And then this year is like, you know what? Let me separate myself from the supporter side as much as I can. Still support it, still give my shout outs and everything, but be unbiased because for me, my goal is to have Otra would expand beyond Austin FC. Like my podcast goes year round, so I'm not really just focused on games the whole time. I'm more focused on, what's out there in Austin or, whose story can I highlight. So with that is thinking about whenever I ask a question to anyone that is in Austin FC, like an NFO, is how can I make a question asked without being a fanboy? Mm-hmm. But still bring in a community part into that conversation. So a lot of the times when I ask a player a question, I'm always asking them, 1, about the game, and 2, about what do you think about the person that bought the ticket for the whole family that came here and they see you guys either win or lose. What is going through your mind at that moment, Because at the end of the day, these guys are professionals, they have to perform, they have to win the games. Or, even when they lose, it's like, what's going on, But think about, don't think about yourself at the moment. Also think about the person that traveled from Austin to LA or from Austin to Washington, from Austin to Colorado. Okay, that's a shit ton of money that people are spending. So to support, but also
so are you when you put the badge on.
Yeah,
right. When you put that, I'm a media person on. You're professional too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you have to be a super professional.
You understand the gravity of the situation,
right?
The more you evolve through.
Yeah, and also just like acknowledging people. It's okay to acknowledge someone passes by, say hi to them. But not get too caught up in like, oh my God, you're here. Because I walked in the locker room and literally the people that I've seen on TV, it's what do you call it? I need more fingers for the amount of players that I've seen that, that they walk by TV, like that I've seen on TV, walk by me. It's kind of like, shit. But also just have to be still like level headed, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm here to work and get shit done. And at the end of the day, I think the goal is for me is always have a good intention to do things. And then from that, you're going to get places. The day you start treating people like shit and getting into your head, and, because I have this and I know this, I have this access, I'm going to fuck everybody else. It's like, nah, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
No, I have to still be cool about it, everything.
Exactly.
But let me go into some of the fun things. But it was a good conversation. We started pretty deep.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that. I want to first go into how was Pollo, founded? When was, Pollo first came about? So Trevor, how did everything start for you guys? Or for you especially?
So because I align with a drinking club, it all starts by being drunk.
Perfect.
At McCalla. So hanging
Still
out.
Austin? Shout out.
Exactly. Well, let's drink to that.
Drink to that. Yes.
Saw.
So I think it was after the first game, watching the Tifo go up. So I wasn't originally a soccer fan at all. I bought season tickets with my friend Jesse, thinking honestly that I would go to that first game and then just sell them because I was like, how many tickets are there? Cool. Like, I'll just go to that one and then go. And then I was like, and then I went completely hooked. Holy crap, this is amazing. And then you're like, oh man, we should bring a rubber chicken. And then
Speaking of,
like, oh man, that's hilarious. You should do it. And then I'm like looking it up. I'm like, they're really expensive. Again, after COVID, inflation like jacked up rubber chickens. They were like $100. So it took me like 4 or 5 weeks to finally commit and like get one. And I was like, should I? Like, yeah, keep drinking, keep thinking about it.
The rubber chicken.
Oh, it hit it hard, dude. Like something happened after.
That just makes me laugh because
I don't know what, but like, because after where they went down, like now they're like $35.
Yeah.
Like it's a reasonable price. You would think for a rubber chicken. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I could pull the trigger on
Yeah.
that. But at first you're like shell shocked.
You're like $100.
Looking around
What?
the internet, I'm going Amazon, like Walmart, all the big names.
Do
Like,
I eat
somebody
like
has
a
to
paddle
source
board
these
during
cheaper.
COVID, right?
Like,
Yeah.
no.
Do I eat this week, or do I
bicycle.
buy the rubber
Or
chicken
rubber
and take it to the
Essentially,
stadium?
yeah. And then when people like it enough, is it going to be a one-off thing? Am I just going to shop and be like, oh, and then like nobody cares, and like that was a waste of $100. And I'm gonna be mad at Jesse and be like, dude, why did you convince me to do that? That was a dumb decision. And then
Now you owe me $100.
yeah, I'm like, dude, I feel like we should split this at least. Like buy me like a beer in here or something.
Because it costs $50 for one beer.
Just
Yeah,
like,
that's
Basically,
also inflation is a part of that, right? Pollo is basically 2 beers at Q2 Stadium.
pretty
that's gonna
much.
be the real right there.
Well, now he's cheaper, so now he's a half a beer.
Yeah,
There you go.
But yeah, he was just kind of just
Those
a
were not adjusted. for
goofy
inflation.
idea of then. Yeah, and then I look over and I see him. Do you remember Paul the alien? That was like
Yeah.
OG Paul. And I'm like, man, that'd be sweet to just bring a random green item, just swing it around, and then he just became like legend. People loved this freaking guy. So it's like I think it was destiny. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the first year I saw a plastic chicken just flying around, and then I think for the Houston game, that's when I started getting more involved with the supporter groups. And I heard of, not heard of, but they were talking about the list of what can you bring to the stadium, and in the list was the plastic chicken. I mean, I was like, okay, it's gonna make some noise and then anything, but little by little you started seeing grow, and then you start seeing it. Just all you see is this chicken just toss around the whole stadium. And one funny thing is when people throw it at you when you're in the couple stand and it goes over you, that fucker lands in the ground.
Took that
on the
series
field.
of photos.
Yeah.
I'm like scrambling for it.
You're like,
And then
no,
I'm
you're
sad
like
looking
right over
down,
here.
I'm like, oh man, I'm like, yeah, can I get them? Like trying to look to make sure Alfredo doesn't see me or Orlando or anybody. I'm like, get that chicken really quick.
Imagine like you have this is a perfect funny scenario where you have the chicken going over the advertising board, and then you have the person trying to get to it, but the person trying to get to it slips from the board and they fall their ass off, and it'll be a funny skit like all for the chicken.
Offer Pollo.
I was so scared of like it just being like a thing that's now like it becomes like thrown at the wrong moment, it falls on the field and becomes like, and then the MLS puts like there are absolutely no rubber chickens, and there's no getting by it, and you're like, damn man, you fucking idiot, threw the fucking
That would be
Pollo,
so bad unless
like,
it
way
like
over my
tripped,
head.
a striker on the way to score against us.
Yeah.
That would be like,
I get the worst
Well,
time
that's
ever.
terrible,
They're
but
like
oops.
coming, and then all of a sudden just like just throws it out, and I'm like, no, don't do that. That's my biggest fear. Don't ever do that. I shouldn't have even said that. How dare you?
Don't throw Pollo on the field.
we'll have to
Don't throw
go back
Pollo.
and edit that
Loyal
out of the
respect.
pod.
He's a person like everyone else. That's how he got into Dallas.
Yeah,
that
we
was
had to buy him a
hilarious.
ticket.
You bought him a ticket?
He had a
Yeah.
ticket. We gave my ticket to Pollo, and then
Then we had to buy another one.
and then security was like, "Are you dead serious?" We had to say it like 3 times, and because it was again on the list, no rubber chickens. And
Yeah.
they're like, but it's not a rubber chicken.
This is an
It's
actual
Pollo.
spectator.
Yeah.
This is Pollo. And then I was like, so what if
This
Jesse
is
actually
not the
was like,
chicken
so
you're
what if,
looking for.
What if he has a ticket? And she was like, haha, no funny. And then she's like, no, I'm serious. And she like walked away, came back. She's like, I don't know. And then like, it's like, no, but seriously, like, who can we talk to? Like, wouldn't let it go. And then
Yeah.
she was like, oh my God, all right, well, let me come back. And then she was like, yeah, come on through.
Nice.
Thank you. Gave her a high five.
Nice.
She said, and that kind of is funny that you said it doesn't end up on the field because they were like,
Yeah, make
we're
sure
just
you
worried
hold it.
about that it's going to end up on the field, and
Just
we're like,
throw it.
why? He's
He has
too
like
important-
1,000
he's too important-
babysitters.
He's too important to end up on
Nobody's gonna do
on the
that.
Dallas field. Why would we throw him on the Dallas field?
It's the last field I would think.
Yeah, exactly. Why would we do that?
I don't even like you guys. Why would we give you our chicken?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was how he got in
And he was also in jail in DC.
DC.
Yeah.
And then Jesse made the mention of that too. They knew about the DC scenario because he was like, I don't want this to be a DC situation. It's like, Jesse, you need to calm down. Like, we got him in. Let's go. Don't push the issue. So yeah, DC, that was
So
crazy.
what happened if you can just tell the people out there?
Tell the story of Pollo
Story,
Libre.
story of legend.
They so we get to DC.
Yeah.
He's with us. We're doing our whole thing. We're getting to the security gate, and I'm taking pictures with like Orlando and Alfredo again, doing the whole thing. And we're like, "Oh, this is hilarious! Like, why don't y'all walk him in? Like, I think that would be cool." And then like soon as they start to get to the front gate, security is like, "Whoa, no, this isn't cool." And they're like, "It's the front office. Like, what are they going to do? They're not bringing in anything crazy." And then he immediately throws him off to me. It was like, "All right, this is your thing. Like, you deal with this." Like, no, this is ours. Like, he's not going anywhere. And then they just like take him off. And then I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then like I get no like communication of anything. And they're just like, then he just wanders off and he's gone. Like, you get back in line. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. What are you talking about? Like, at this point, I don't have to drive anywhere. So again, I'm drunk. Maybe I have a problem. I keep talking about this. I need to probably think about my consumption. But yeah, so I'm feeling feisty. I'm like, you're trying to mess with me right now. So I'm just gonna stand here. We still have, I mean, they make us get into these games like 4 hours early. So I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna stand here at this gate and I'm just gonna wait. And she's like, everyone's through. Everyone's waiting at this point, and like Trevor's still sitting over there, like, "Oh, let's wait for him." And I'm like, "No, y'all go. I'm just gonna sit and chill, wait for an answer." And she comes back and was like, "What are you doing? You need to go in." And I'm like, "No, I need an answer on my son." And at that point, she's like, "What are you talking about? Your son? You're a lunatic."
You're a lunatic.
Like,
crazy.
Well, then another high up security guy comes up. "Well, come with me. Like, let's walk back here." And like, "All right, well, cool, let's go." And I'm just like, I'm walking my ass back there, having. I had to keep a straight face, try not to smile, but I'm just like, no, this is dead fucking serious. I need this shit back. So I get back there and he's laying down on the security desk.
Oh,
like
hell
this.
no.
TV's over here, and so like I see like highlights playing, and I'm like, so the game's gonna be on that TV, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, could you at least like set him up so that he can like watch the game? And they're like, what? I'm like, I mean, like pick him, like just put him so that his eyes can at least see the TV. And like, he's been to every game at this point, so like it would just be kind of like, if he can't go into the game, like let him just watch
the game in DC.
Like,
and
why did we let these people from
say,
Austin in the MLS?
I
Such
just
a
sit
mistake.
and watch the game here with y'all, and they're like, no, absolutely, you cannot sit and watch the game with us.
Yeah.
This, again, you fucking lunatic. You're not just gonna sit here and like this crazy chicken guy is gonna just sit here and demand that he sees the TV. It's an inanimate object that is an inflatable explosive or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they said it was
no
inflatables.
No inflatables.
This is not
was-
inflatable.
That's not inflatable.
So the main security shows up. That's the end of the story. He shows up and he's like, no, it's an inflatable. You can't have it in. And then Ray made the funniest point. It's actually more of a deflatable because it takes more of a deflation to even like make it. I'm not gonna make you do the whole thing, but like that's. Or do it, but yeah. So then they made a deal, and it was like, all right, 80th minute. What if we give him back to you? And I'm like, I don't like that deal. Like, I just want to sit here and just watch the game with you, or just like let me take him back to the car, or like. And they're like, dude, like. At this point, I'm getting like rushed back to them. I'm like, dude, just take the deal. Like, just do it. And I'm like, So I grab him, and I'm like, promise me. I made him like look in my eyes and like literally said those words. And I'm like, tell me that he will be back in the 80th minute. I will come back if he's not there. Promise me. And he's like, same as you. He's kind of laughing like, this fucking guy. So yeah, it was actually, they brought him back in like the 78th minute. Like they were a little early, and he was happy as shit. He comes around the corner with kind of a smile on his face. And he's like, well, here he is.
Oh, here he is.
He's walking up the stairs, and then I'm just like, holy shit. And like, if you've been in DC, the incline is like this. Like, we're looking down. Like, I'm like, oh, there he is, straight below my feet. Like, go down, grab him, and then it's like, oh shit, running back up. As we're getting to the seats, I was like, oh my God, Pollo's back. Woo, we getting our asses killed. What was that point? It was 2-0?
It was
3-0. It was awful.
Yeah, we were losing.
Awful.
3-0 at the,
God, we're not that bad anymore.
No, but then that's the game we came
You're
back
missing
though.
the most important part of the story.
Oh,
Soon as I get to the C, we score. Boom. That's why I was asking what the score was. 79th minute. And it was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Then it's like, oh, Pollo Libre. Woo, having a good fucking time. Like, this is awesome. We have nothing else to celebrate other than just like the one goal. And then as we're still like celebrating that one, another one, we're like, holy shit, this actually might be a thing. And then people are like, wait, let me grab Pollo for a minute. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, woo. have fun. Now shirts start coming off. People are like, well, fuck it. Like, it was just raining. Everyone's all muggy and, like, kind of like, now we're, like, not as sad, but now we're a little more excited, but still just
and then,
like,
boom, third
this
goal
shit ain't gonna happen. And then, boom, another goal happens. And then it's like, holy shit! Oh, my God, it's the chicken, the Pollo. Oh, shit. Pollo Libre happens again. Rico gets butt naked, and I'm just like, dude, everybody. Then the security comes over, like, Rico, put your clothes on. He's like, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
And everyone's just having the greatest freaking time, and then we ended up winning.
And then, boom, fourth goal happens in the 98th minute.
Game. Holy shit! And they're like, "Is it Pollo? Did Pollo do that?" And so for the rest
The Pollo effect.
I think clearly.
The Pollo effect.
Pollo fanaticism. My phone is hot in my pocket, and I'm just like, and then it dies, and I find out later it's like Los Verdes, Los Pollos. Like every channel is just like, oh my God, Pollo is like miracle. It was Easter weekend, so now Pollo is the savior, and I'm just like, that seems a little bit crazy, like going over the top. But yeah, that was what happened in DC, and then after that, it was just kind of
dude.
Legend of Pollo.
I heard
history, so
they mentioned it in the I think the following game they mentioned it in the broadcast. And they even with your birthday, they also said like, "Hey, it's Pollo's dad's birthday,
cool
by the way."
I got to do
Congratulations, Trevor.
Go on the field. That was the funnest day.
Dude, that was. I remember you and you were going like ham. Like you were happy as fuck,
like
dude.
The high of all.
And
that.
we won that game.
Home,
yeah,
it's my birthday, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, Pollo!" And I was like, "That was cool as shit." Like I can die happy. I don't care what happens after that. That was super cool.
There's two. I would say after the game, true loves that they're pretty memorable. One is yours, and then the other one is with Fatima. She started just bawling out, dude. And
cool.
So the guys, like the players, came and say hi to her, and it was cool. Like it's still like a young person out there, just at 10 years old, doing the true love. How impactful is that going to be for her life when she grows up? So that's pretty cool, man. I'm
born of this club, like
basically.
That's so cool. Her and Seb, I can't wait to see that. Like,
another one.
As they grow up, that's the future of this club. If they move, I'm gonna be sad. They're like, one's in DC and one's in Waco, and you're like, what?
But
I hope not.
Let's take a quick break and have to check on the AC because it turned off. Get a refill and we'll come back.
Yeah, we're all like sweating.
Refill.
Let's check. We had to take a quick break. The AC turned off, so we had to put it back on and then also get a refill. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Now that we're drinking again,
nice.
Let's talk about Fighting Leslie's drinking club. Todd, Aggie.
You didn't drink.
Oh shit.
That's not.
Bad
Number
luck.
one, or
coaster,
two, or
that-
three.
It's we ran out on a budget. Or my dog just ate it. One of those two.
Pond is good for you, right? There's a pond out back. The pond's good for you.
That's where I usually bathe. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's talk about Todd. When was Fighting Leslie's founded, and what's the mission and vision behind the group?
The Fighting Leslie's came about. We started the idea a little bit after the team was announced and before anything was happening. It's a loose gaggle of natives and long-timers in town. A lot of us grew up together, or some of the guys, met in college when we were in our 20s, and, or we hung out in the late 80s, 90s, in the clubs, the music scene, Red River a lot, emos, Stubbs, 710, stuff like that. And then the rest of the group that came a little after that all came through a soccer team we had called Chop Liverpool DC. And so it was Chop Liverpool DC, which was a drinking club with a soccer team.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, not that any of these guys are listening, but it's a shout out to the Strikers. One of our members, Robert Molina, started that soccer club. This is an Austin Men's Soccer Association club.
Which front office, why they should be in Liga Verde next year.
And around 2000, 2002, a lot of those original members were getting older, and we started an over 30 team, and was Chop Liverpool. And so some of the people that weren't growing up together or at that time, the rest of them came about through this soccer team. And we all wanted tickets. We were all in, right? We were all fans. We're like, this is going to be awesome. This is great. And we coordinated, and we worked hard at it, and got a little lucky. And when general seating came open, we managed to get tickets together.
That's cool.
We got a big block of tickets. There were 14 of us originally, and we grabbed 30 seats together in a block.
Damn.
We should make like a banner or something to show y'all's section.
Well,
they did have a
what
banner.
happened. So after that actually was successfully procured, someone, we were like, well, fuck, now we're like a group.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's a thing. Like this actually, and that was a year and a half in the making. And we were looking around at names, and nothing was really good. Everyone's throwing out ideas. I think it was Jesse Proctor who said, well, how about the Fighting Leslies? And it was bingo. Like, of course, right?
Easy.
Because there's a lot of, Leslie was a pacifist, right? So Fighting Leslies, by definition, is kind of, you're tweaking that. It's also a throwback in our minds to kind of an older Austin flavor that we wanted to make sure that type of attitude had a voice in this new community, right? And so it just worked. We had a friend of ours. A lot of the things we were doing early were specific throwback attempts to old Austin flavor. Our friend Addison Mayfield, who drew the artwork for us, was a singer in a bunch of punk rock bands and did all the art for those guys. And he comes from Guy Juke. He's Guy Juke's nephew, who's one of the big five kind of poster art guys from the 60s and 70s that was doing Vulcan Gas Company, Armadillo World Headquarters, Soap Creek Saloon stuff. Like these are the guys that were doing the real poster art of Austin in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. And then the younger guys came on. And so there was a huge poster art scene here in the 60s and 70s that a lot of the guys went to San Francisco. They came back, brought that scene here, and it was a big part of the culture. Obviously, live music was a big thing. It's mainly what we had. The service industry was the biggest industry in town forever. So that kind of stuff. It was just how can we have that kind of voice, that kind of attitude, have a voice in the new thing. And the name stuck. And that's really what it was. And then we realized, hey, well, we're not 30 anymore or 20 or whatever. Old.
Why are you laughing, Trevor?
And we just realized that there are some of us are upstanding citizens in the community.
Okay.
And we've decided early on that we didn't just want to be a drinking club, and having fun and being silly. But we wanted to be a part of this new community that was being designed and give back to the town that we all think is so special, that a lot of us grew up in or spent a lot of time in.
What are you talking about?
I was going to say Helotes. I was trying to think of something close to San Antonio.
Selma, Texas.
Yeah, Selma, right? The speed trap town. Seguin.
I have a question for you, Aggie.
Yes, sir.
Do people ever ask you, who is Leslie?
Well, yeah, they do sometimes, or they ask who's on the shirt.
Do you ever tell them who it is?
Sometimes we'll tell them it's Tommy Chong.
Chong?
That's like Tommy Chong, to be honest with you.
I thought it was Moses from the Bible.
It's Moses.
I might have to start
So is
using
Leslie
those.
is Leslie in the club?
Leslie is an honorary obvious
cool.
member. So yes, that's
he's kind of doing other things right now.
Wait,
part of
what do you mean? No, I'm just kidding.
part of the art was, so I sent a photo of
Yeah.
Leslie in a cheerleader outfit with the glasses and the fanny pack and the purse. It's a great shot of him. And then I took some turn of the century bare knuckle boxing posters from England. And I sent it to my buddy who had just moved back to town and had actually gone to San Francisco at the end of the 90s to go to the San Francisco Art Institute. And so he was out there for almost 20 years, had just moved back to the area when this was all happening. And I said, man, we need somebody that can do throwback art to that style, you know, that can capture some of the stuff we're talking about. And, oh, my God, Addison just moved back. Fozzie, we call him Fozzie. And he was totally in, so I sent him a photo of Leslie and some bare-knuckle boxing posters, and I think he nailed it, right?
Yeah,
And
It is para más. Yeah.
Have you ever considered doing it as like a full back tat?
no.
I have a question. So do you have the Austin
Not
FC
yet, at
logo
least.
in the shirt? Did
Well-
they ever tell you something about it? Or-
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, they didn't, but we were advised very early in the process. The things we were doing were promotional.
Okay.
We weren't selling them yet, and not publicly. But when we decided to try to go public with stuff, we were advised by friends of ours. Jeremiah actually was one that suggested it. And then someone in the front office that is a friend of ours mentioned it as well, that it might not be a good idea when you're selling things.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this is, I guess, a first-generation shirt.
Shirt, okay.
And the Crowd Surfer, we can get into that Trevor mentioned, has it on there too. But once we began selling items, we changed it. The logo on the shirt is briefly altered and is not an actual Austin FC logo.
Okay.
It's actually the logo that we have that's a soccer ball with some barley leaves around it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Straightforward, clean.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's a group that started deep in Austin.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Those
It
are
really
OG
is.
Austin.
Yeah.
A lot of us were born here, and several, I think, were here long time ago. Probably, there's a couple of guys that came for college if they weren't from here. So when they were 20, and we're older than some of the other people.
Okay.
So that's why I say long timers, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking 80s and 90s before the major first big population increase, which was, probably around 94, 95 into 2000 when the .com thing and the wasn't the hardware. The hardware moved here first, but when the software started moving here is when we really saw the population increase.
That's nice.
So most of the folks are from before that.
When my parents were like, buy a house, and I'm like, no, y'all are crazy. I'm just a crazy teenager, and I don't feel like doing that. And then you're like, damn it, they were right.
Yeah, I should have bought 10
Always
of
listen
them,
to
right?
your parents.
No, always listen to your parents
Come on,
out there,
guys.
children.
Always listen to your parents.
If my kids are listening to this, which they will never, listen to your parents.
Listen to Aggie, which is your dad or your parent.
What is like as a group? What is something memorable you guys you recall from what you guys have been doing?
Well, I would say, for me personally, the most memorable thing that doesn't involve an actual game or whatever, it was the Scarf Winter Clothing Drive campaign, because that was a truly organic situation. I had been talking to, at that time, Jeremiah and Derek about ways to collaborate, because the season was over. We had the first season, and it was obviously, we only had half of it in Q2, which 17 games in 4 months or something, 5 months. Yeah, it was really hardcore for everyone. And when that season was over, so many things that like it had all worked, right? La Murga was a thing. Los Verdes was a thing. We were a thing. Like, we're not even really a thing, but we were kind of a thing. And it was like, this is fun. It's awesome, right? We all had a blast. Like, the team was terrible, and we fucking loved it. Like, it was so awesome.
I remember that time.
I think it was
I still have
well above
blast.
everyone's expectations, right? I mean, it's still fun as hell.
Yeah.
And so we were actually discussing possible collaborations between Los Verdes and the Fighting Leslies. And we were at an actual meeting at a beer place with pizza and beer.
That's a perfect way to have a
discussing.
How long was the meeting?
When
did it start
Trevor.
and when did it finish?
It's where a kid can be a kid.
We were at the meeting when someone that worked at the club sent out a tweet that became kind of a focal point of groundswell of emotion, and it all happened really quick. We were discussing that happened, and within 12, 18 hours from there, Derek had put me in touch with Mateo. And that was how I met Mateo. And we were immediately discussing. The idea suddenly took form. I don't think it would have happened without this situation. And us being already having done homeless organizational attempts at fundraising and awareness, it all worked. And Mateo and I were discussing how neither group was going to go publicly and mention people or do anything like that. Like Mateo was had very strong feelings about focusing the groundswell of energy, which there was a lot. And it was pretty negative, right? People were angry about what had happened. Yeah. And he wanted to turn that negativity and that emotion and energy into something positive. And I absolutely agreed with it, and I wanted to be a part of it. And that was a real turning point of that. And it led to a winter clothing drive. It led to a fun drive. It led to a scarf that sold a lot of scarves and raised a lot of money. And it was just, it's a campaign that I'm extremely proud of, and feel really good about, like, saying that it happened. And it was my first collaboration officially, I guess, with other groups. We had done some fundraising and some sourcing ideas, and item raising ideas and donations, can drives and stuff. And we had done some laundry project stuff for Brad Stuver that first year. And
who's Brad Stuver?
but this was a real thing that did a lot of really fantastic stuff. Yeah. And it happened very quickly, very organically. In fact, I don't think I've mentioned Carrie Tillery for all the work she did in the video and in the scripting and in everything that went into this campaign we're talking about now. And she deserves the idea board, ton of credit.
Spitballer.
Un besote donde quiera que esté.
The best actor in that skit.
It's I mean,
everything.
Hiring her for this project was the best thing we ever did. We should pay her.
The way it was last minute.
We're going to double her salary for sure. Yeah, she's earned it.
Yeah.
But she was the one when we were on a large Zoom call with the Los Verdes. They invited us on it. And once we started talking about the scarf, and Joel brought his first idea of a scarf artistically to the group. And, Los Verdes is much more public than we are and has a little bit more safe space they need to operate in. And then I think the collaboration with the Fighting Leslies allowed them to get outside of that bubble a little bit. And they all clearly wanted to. And Carrie was the first one that mentioned, hey, well, we should try this and we should add some of this. And then Joel came back with the legs, and it was amazing.
Which, like the legs.
So that's something I'm very proud of.
Yeah,
that campaign and meeting all those people and doing all that is one of the outside things that I'm really proud of that this group got to do.
The legs, you know, anyone outside of it will be like, what the hell is that? But then when you know the history behind it, I think you got to be dumb not to really just embrace it, no matter what team you're from.
I think the scarf, what I like to say about the scarf, it's just grotesque and offensive enough to catch your attention because there's a message of positivity and unity and goodwill on the other side. Mm-hmm. And I think Joel nailed it. In fact, it was past grotesque offensive enough because the first game the scarf came in was a Sunday afternoon ESPN nationally broadcast game.
Hell yeah.
And from my understanding, we were very excited as our group was like, oh my God, our first scarf is going to be on ESPN. It was all over the South End. And I think the Oak Army guys the Oak Ops guys were not too pleased about that. And so I think there was a lot of scarf trading. Hey, take this scarf. Don't show that scarf on TV that day, which was disappointing for us.
Take this Continental Tire scarf and
like
trade
we
me
did
that
all this
awesome
really
scarf.
good things, and then
corporate America.
Yeah,
capitalism.
And I get it, right? I get it. It was one of our first big.
What are you doing?
Huge nationally broadcast games, and so we were, because we don't sit in the South End, we could see that there weren't a lot of scarves out, and found out afterwards they were like, no, that's not going to fly, and it was disappointing. But again, it doesn't take away from the reality of what happened with that, and the people. I mean, still to this day, people are asking about those scarves, and we're hoping to do a 2.0 here real soon.
I'm down. Let's do it. But one thing that I wanted to mention is I first learned about fighting Leslie's through the Pasión Verde documentary, because I was part of the group. So that's when I got to know about it, and that's when I heard about it. But I really didn't get a chance to actually sit down and actually understand more about it until like this point. And it's pretty badass. It's just how it's rooted in Austin, how you have everything going on, and for the cause that it went down at that moment. Because it was like one of those that I felt like that right there started to, little by little, there was other things that were voiced out, but then how you guys turned everything from a negative to a positive. And at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, and he was saying, imagine if everyone that on Twitter that complains actually did something badass. How many things will be done like that will be fucking remarkable? Who knows? Will be like featured or whatnot? I'm a big fan of turning everything that it's wrong in society into art, because in art you can find in darkness you can find some art, and then it's easier to express it because you're a little more vulnerable. That situation is vulnerable because it's not just something that we go back to that like homelessness is affecting one section of the country. It's affecting the whole country, and it's a bigger problem. But doing stuff like this, it's where it's at,
Well, our artistic ability or artistic viewpoints and talent has always been one of Austin's great commodities. And again, I feel the same way, and I know a lot of people out there do. And I have to say again, I'm grateful. Because I don't think I'm grateful that incident happened and that opportunity arose, because I don't think it ever would have finished in that way. And in that same moment, I always have to tip my hat to Mateo in that situation, because that truly led the opportunity. I mean, we all got behind it. A lot of people worked hard on that situation, and I learned how to articulate even a lot of things I felt. He had a really good way of articulating some of the things. He and I were on some long phone calls for several days in that moment, trying to make sure. And always extremely grateful for that opportunity to be involved in that project with him. And I just want to make sure that he gets that due. I mean, there was a lot of him, and everyone worked real hard on that. But yeah, that was a cool thing. That was probably one of my
Wish that
best
guy
moments.
never abandoned us and moved to Colorado.
Yeah, I know, right? Hassle.
You fucking guy.
Yeah, this beer's gonna come out and we're gonna kick your ass.
Yo, he's not gonna get a 6-pack.
Yeah, I told him we were going to roll a keg up over the Rockies for him, but maybe not.
I might go to. I want to go like one day to Colorado and like visit him. But yeah, it's cool, man. I'm stuff like this is talking about it in my space is like I fucking love it. Like I enjoy it, especially when you're drinking whiskey and Coke. Now let's
From Still Austin.
from
Shout
Still
out
Austin.
Still Austin.
Shout out Still Austin.
Shout out again.
Delightful.
Shout out again. Why not?
Let's do another
Why
cheers.
not? Cheers. Let me
StillAustin.com.
StillAustinWhiskey.com.
You get it at Specs or
You get
Twin
our
Liquor.
Specs,
You get
Twin
it everywhere
Liquor,
where your liquor is sold.
everywhere your liquor is sold.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So
And they are located in San Elmo too.
okay,
So you can have
you
a.
can go straight up there. You can tell them if you love it or not.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you
Don't tell 'em
don't
if you
bring
don't
it
love
in
it
plastic
because-
flasks to Q2 because that's not allowed.
Or in IV bags that I've seen, but that's not allowed.
Quiet, dude.
It's just one of those editable moments.
No, don't edit. I'm just saying like those aren't things that are allowed, and so don't do that kind of IV bag stuff.
Love
are
it.
expensive.
No.
Let me. So now behind putting such a great project, you also gotta have an organization or a company that that can deliver that type of product, and
To actually make beer?
what's up?
To actually make
To actually
beer?
make beer,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
To
okay.
to be like their specialty is making beer.
Transitioning to Garrett.
We're transitioning to Garrett. Yeah,
Stomped
we
all
are.
over him. You walked all over his segue.
Yeah, I was gonna thank you, Trevor. Nah, you're good. You're good.
We're gonna edit
You're
this
good.
out.
You're good. Nah, you're good. You're good. I'm pretty laid
Still
back about
whiskey,
stuff
thank
like
you.
that. You're welcome. But how's this process been for you? You work in a company that, of course, is for profit, but stuff like this, what is something that you take away from?
So, going off of what Aggie said with the art here in Austin and everything like that, we've actually done a lot of collaborations with different kinds of art. We did a Latino art beer that we did, and it was I'm drawing a blank on the name. It was a guava beer, but I can't remember the name right now. But that was all for proceeds go to that installation of that art piece and everything like that.
Okay.
We did one of those. We also did it was more of I can't remember the other name of it. I apologize. I'll think of it probably here in a little bit. A little nervous, so.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I've been silent for a long time.
He just finally went to.
He's like, "Hey, your turn." Blah, blah,
Your
blah.
turn.
No, I'll think of it in a minute. But no, this like he was saying, his first project.
You don't gotta be formal, bro. You gotta be
Yeah,
like.
when the bus is this.
Yeah,
Joel,
the way you
Joel
talk
got
to
a bus
me out
rap.
of
like,
here,
no, like
be-
Joel-
be- you know,
anyone
did-
that can,
yeah,
anyone
Joel
that can
did
remind us
the
later.
Latino Art Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever they had that,
Right.
I think it was almost about a year ago now. We did that one, and that was for all proceeds went to, the towards that fund and
Organization?
everything like
Yeah.
that, and it was really cool. And then also Joel, like the same one that did the scarf for the Fighting Leslies and everything like that. That he did the same bus wrap for that, and we did a big reveal at Austin Beerworks at that time as well. But going back to projects and everything like that, this is like my first project that I've done by myself at Austin Beerworks and everything like that. So the owners have been pretty busy about doing everything that they've done with their new location and everything like that. And when I came to them with this idea and like what it was going to be about and where the proceeds would go and what we thought about the idea, and they were like, "All right, Garrett, we got enough on our plate. You take this one and you run
Love
with
it.
it."
Hell
and so
yeah.
I was like, "All right, I'll take it and I'll run with it." And yeah, pretty much like they've supported me in this company for 5 years now, and which is really cool for them to actually give me my own project. And also the same thing is going off of the beer that I made as well. So we're using that beer.
Yeah, tell us about the recipe
for this this beer as well. And it's so the beer is called Fighting Pollo Pilz. It's a collaboration between Pollo himself and Leslie themselves, and the can is really cool. I'll give you kind of like a just a snippet of it. It's they're both fighting all over the can. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's awesome to see, and it's probably one of the coolest can artworks that I've ever seen. It's really cool. And I've worked at Beerworks for 5 years, and I've seen a lot of different artworks that came through on cans and everything like that. And it's probably one of the coolest things that I've seen just ever. It's really cool. And I've looked at other people's artwork from California or any part of looking at beer for working in this industry for 5 years now, and it's one of the coolest things that I've seen. It's really.
But the recipe,
fun.
What is
tell us about
the recipe?
Tell us about
so that's the can. The recipe. So the recipe came from
which we thought this was going to come out.
I've never.
August,
the reason why I want to know is I've never brewed beer. So
yeah. Well, I mean so I'll just tell you the recipe at one point at this point. So it's of course, like I said, the beer is Fighting Pollo Pilz, but the Briss. So what we're using for the malt is a Briss Pilsner, which is a German style Pilsner that's very light and brings out the golden-esque part of the beer and everything like that. We're using we're using Blanc hops as well as some Mandarin hops as well. Those all go through the boil. So like you said you never have seen any kind of beer process or anything like that. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to break the malt up.
Okay.
So first thing, it's going to go through like a grinder, and then it's going to shoot into the actual kettle. So what it'll do is it'll break the malt up, and then that way the sugars are released, and that way you get all your full flavors and everything out of that.
It's a potential video. We should get you over there and make a beer.
I'm down.
Yeah, we can make another.
Tell us about the hydration pills.
Hydration element. I don't think you're allowed to say those.
So I'm actually not allowed to say those words, but so this
just fucked
this beer. No, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. This beer has a hydration.
Trevor did it.
You said that.
This beer has a hydration element to it. We actually I've worked with like the people in the lab and everything like that to put
sounds expensive.
A hydration element into this beer. So this beer is going to have some sort of hydration-esque to it.
Are there pictures of you with a coat and goggles? Because I'm imagining you would have to be in the lab.
There is.
Okay, good.
And I'm like this.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing
the scientists.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, we thought this was going to come out in August,
but
so
it's
that
still
was
going
very
to be. It's still
important.
going to be.
Well, the scientists had more
still.
algorithms and stuff to conduct it, and so they were like, it's going to take a little longer to actually get the hops in a line to
put the
way that it needs
hydration
to
back.
Yeah. So we took the hydration out of the hops, and then we put it back into it, and maniacally put it back together, and did all kinds of crazy scientist stuff.
We ironed it out, and then alchemized it.
Exactly. What
God damn, dude.
He told me about it earlier. And he can tell you about it again, but he probably can't because it was it was a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get y'all into that.
So. But the beer is going to be a Pilsner, and so its base is Pilsner malt. It's going to be a light drinking, easy drinking beer, 4% alcohol by volume, and like I said, it has some sort of, like Aggie said, some sort of hydration to it as well. So you're going to be getting drunk and you're going to be getting hydrated at the same time.
Damn.
And
so
it's still kind of hot outside.
Of it.
So,
it's still kind of hot
still
outside.
100 degrees.
I encourage everyone to buy
be fair,
70
and
beers.
I will say when we were first discussing the possibility had come, we were all trying to figure out what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And while high alcohol by content beers were being thrown out.
Those are always fun.
Yes, and by the farm team guys, right? Because the old guys and we have some, alcohol professionals in the group, and I don't mean drinkers, I mean industry people.
Actually, that work in there. Yeah.
And they all brought a good point. Like, look, we're at the age of life where we like to drink a lot of it.
Yeah.
And if we have a 12% beer, we'll get to drink 2. Yeah. And then we'll be asleep.
Cherish
and
it.
the whole
Love
idea is to drink a lot.
Love the beer.
We're in the older, longer version, and so this was a great compromise.
Yeah, and then
it happened to be Garrett's.
So then I threw out my recipe, and they said it was awesome, and I'm happy that it's going into something that I love with Pollo and Trevor and Aggie as well. That this is in my idea and everything like that's going to be part of.
Oh, it's cool. Your pet project being something that became something you
became something that's actually going to be, hopefully a staple, and we can maybe make more of it. And
that's the one thing because
he's doing such a great job.
Hey, you know what?
There's a hope here.
There's a hope.
Send this tag Austin Beerworks.
when I was editing the video and putting together the clips. So in Mexico, there's a show called El Chavo del Ocho, and there's this one character, Don Ramon, that I feel like he glues everyone together, in subconsciously. Everyone revolves around him, even though there's protagonists. And I feel like in that moment, you were the glue to everything. I mean, you were in a tap room, you were in the back, you were all over the place.
I was running all over the place just to see if anybody needed anything, and I just wanted to make sure everything went well that day, and we got the shot that we needed to, and I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna do everything that you do.
And it's cooled in that.
Yeah. I was running around. I was very sweaty.
Yeah, I appreciate Austin Beerworks for allowing us to, there's companies that allow you to collaborate, but they're very like, no, right here, that's it. Yeah. But you guys were like, hey, should hear wherever you guys want.
Austin Beerworks gave us Garrett, and Garrett.
And the entire facility. And the staff.
To be fair, that video was going to be shot in an controlled environment.
Field.
And Garrett
I'm glad we had that meeting.
We had the whole meeting, and we were about to leave, and Garrett was like, ooh, check out our barrel room.
You're like, right here.
We were like, wait a minute.
And then Richie was like, can we shoot this in here? And I go, I'm sure we can, but let me check.
Yeah, that saved the whole project. Yeah, because that video shoot would not have lasted longer than an hour.
Yeah. It would have been very uncomfortable for sure.
Yeah, it was cool, man. But I appreciate Austin Beerworks for putting this together. I mean, for allowing this to happen.
So grateful.
Because I feel like stuff like this build precedent for greater things. And I know Austin Beerworks is a company, what I've seen, from the outside is a company that likes to do something similar to this. And I think that's what makes breweries thrive or companies thrive.
These are all the 4 owners are not. They're not necessarily local. They haven't when they weren't born here and everything like that. But they've been in Austin for a very long time, and they do care about the community. And it's awesome to work for a company that loves to give back and able to do that. So
I can honestly say. Since I got semi-involved in the project and started interacting more with some of their guys, I can honestly say they were 100% in, 100% excited, and 100% supportive of any of the ideas and the project itself. And it was never a fight or concern to do this. It was more on like they said, hey, Garrett, this is your thing. And it was like, dude, guys, we got to come through with this. They're offering us an opportunity.
You got to deliver.
We got to deliver.
I just had to answer, or I just had to ask the important questions like, is this okay? Are we able to do this?
Can we call it?
Can we call it? What was it?
Cockfight Pills.
Cockfight Pills, and they were like, nah, probably not. Pretty cool name though.
That was the only time they said no in this entire project.
Probably,
they were like, we really like it. It's funny, but no, that's not happening.
Considered it different.
Yeah, we're like, no, actually, we haven't.
Fighting cock pills.
Cockfight Pills. I think
Cockfight Pills was honestly what we all wanted to call.
It's funny.
But no, it's great, man. I'm pretty excited. I like creating things, and for someone that creates stuff.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Awesome,
and
dude.
So I'm just happy that they were able to let me kind of run with this and everything like that. The merch is going to be really cool. We're going to have a couple of shirts.
So sick.
One tie-dye shirt that's kind of similar to Trevor's that he's wearing right now. And then,
But, like, way better.
way better, yeah.
Way better.
And then we're going to have a couple koozies, 16-ounce koozies.
Pearl Snap down the road.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Lighters,
We're going to have tank tops
stickers.
as well as T-shirts, stickers, and then some cups that are kind of like this but are plastic.
So that's all the hope that everyone comes out, buys the
Yeah.
beer, buys all the merch,
Well,
and then we can give as much money as possible
and
to
speaking
an
of
amazing organization.
creativity, right? We have to, we obviously are thanking Carrie. We're thanking Richie
Shout out.
for,
Wait, Richie.
doing
who?
the whole thing. Some fucking
He's over
jackass dude.
He's
you
over
know.
there.
Wait.
And thank you, Tyler Hood, for doing all the merch. Well done, dude.
Tyler.
Joey.
And then, we
Joey for making the
invited
scarves, everything.
we invited some other creatives from the Austin community, soccer community, to be a part of this
Oh, beer can.
because we wanted to include the community as best we could, right?
Yeah.
And it was a press conference, right? The skit was a press conference, so we wanted to bring people that fit that mold that would actually be recognizable press people, and they all jumped in with both feet and were thrilled to be involved.
Which
and
could mean to hope
grateful
that we
to be
can get more
asked.
projects like that again, because people were really excited to be involved in like a creative kind of project. Like
Even-
that. It seemed like
even
a different
the-
kind of a touch than we typically do.
Yeah. Even the one of the graphic designers, the main graphic designer for the team gave it a shout out. And that's a huge thing.
Wow.
Oh, really?
I mean,
didn't
for
know
someone
that.
that does that professionally for the living, that's a
cool.
huge thing.
That's awesome.
So that's
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
badass.
we got. I mean, can we list the other people on?
Of course.
pod, right?
Oh yeah, they're all. So here's one thing about like us, Otra por favor is we love everybody as long as you drink beer.
Yeah, well, we all did
Or
that
mezcal.
day.
Yeah,
That's
we
for
did.
sure.
Yeah.
Or rum, or
Moon Tower, was there. The North End guys were there. Hernan came. Bob Fonseca, who's a 35-year veteran of Austin
and
radio.
an insane huge fan of Pollo and is so cool and supportive of
Yeah.
this entire
We had Matt
community.
Lankeys. We had creative industry people want to be a part of it, and that was very cool for us, I think, also. Our friends showed up, and we had, friends too, but to be supported and graciously accepted by the other actual content creators and creative people
In Austin.
was really cool.
Yeah, and then just a quick note: the collaboration with fighting Pollo fight. No, wait, fighting Leslie's. Hold on, no. Pollo
Cockfighting pills.
Cockfighting
Cockfighting.
pills. Cockfighting pills.
The cock of Leslie is
Cock of
Pollo.
Leslie's.
Fighting
Fighting Pollo Pills.
Fighting Pollo pills.
Fight Leslie.
Fight Leslie
Over
Pollo
Pollo's
pills.
cock.
Lager.
Don't take pills.
Don't take pills.
Something like
There
that.
we go. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the name of it.
Fighting Pollo pills.
A long name.
You guys are actually
Lager.
gonna be. You guys are gonna be going to other spaces, not just Otra por favor. You guys are gonna be with Northern Podcast. You guys are also gonna be in the fan reactions after the game on Sunday with We Are Austin TV, and you guys will also be gonna be going to Moon Tower Podcast. So this is right here is awesome. You know what? Everybody's gonna get a piece of that pie, like the way I like to do it. But it's great, man. It's great.
Try to hopefully get all the merch sold as well as the cans. I think there's going to be about 65 cases of beer.
Okay.
So, like I said, like
Well,
we already,
that's what
like,
we're gonna buy at the
like we already-
Fighting Leslie's.
like
I don't
we
know
already-
what you
When
guys
you said
are gonna
that
be
number,
drinking.
that
Like,
concerns
we already-
me that
we
that's
already-
not.
Hey man, as long
We
as I
already
get
said
drinking
I get a 12 pack.
we already
and a
said
club that likes to drink.
we already
That's-
said that
no.
that quantities are going to be limited, and
That's-
there
We
will
will
be
be
some kegs as well.
driving
for
trucks out the
everything
back
like that.
door.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna buy 27.
So
they
come
might
to the
they
event.
might just buy it all. So you might have
So
to
you-
pay.
They'll
third-party
be the
for
Live
this.
Nation of the Pollo.
Trevor and I are concerned we're going to sell out at the event.
we should
and
buy
not
it
make
out
Might, yeah.
and then upcharge it.
It's all for a good cause.
Don't forget cause.
selling beer for the
So,
the good peeps of Community First Village
It's already
at
sold
Mobile
out,
Loaves and
but still
Pigeons.
come buy beer. It's going to be
sold out.
$19.
But still come.
But you should come anyway.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just kidding.
September 30th.
It is gonna be a lot of fun. You have to
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also
Right,
going
we're
to
gonna
set
have
up.
TVs. Right, we're
We're
gonna have
also
some
going to set up
stuff.
a little art table as well. Do some.
We'll have some kid-friendly
I didn't know
activities.
that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, we're gonna
Sounds
do.
great.
So we're considering with Joel and.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
We're
Yeah, I
gonna
remember.
do like.
It's a
Colored
family-friendly event.
pencils,
It's not just about
crayons,
drinking. It's about
clay.
supporting the local community.
And then we want to make like a kind of like maybe make a shirt out of all the different art that people make or something
Yeah.
out of it. Just
I remember
like
this.
it's-
Yeah,
We'll
They're
have
gonna do like
sidewalk chalk. We'll have art
We're gonna have events,
supplies. We're gonna
games.
have
It's gonna
some.
be pretty.
It's gonna
The
be
kids
fun.
can
ridiculous.
come for a little bit. If
it's
the
gonna
game
be
goes too
different.
late and you have to go home, that's fair. But the
It's a
event starts
weekend.
at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Anarchy.
The
They
games
got the
at-
food
the
trucks
game-
there.
the game-
We're
yeah,
trying
the
new
game's at
stuff. Like we
8:30.
said, the culture is new. The
Yeah,
culture
come have
is still
dinner, hang
growing.
out, and
Have some fun
buy some
and
beer.
get a beer if you can get it, because
Yeah.
she's gonna sell out
Better
quick.
hurry.
It's only 12 cases, so hurry.
That's gonna be- you
Two
have to-
ca-
have
Yeah,
to-
two-
so
only a
one
12-pack.
case maximum.
Once we
one
buy
case
all
maximum.
the cases,
So we're
out,
gonna have-
everyone's
we're gonna
gonna
have
fight.
we'll have
12-pack
three-
maximum.
We'll have three 75-inch
It's gonna be 3
LED
beers left.
LED TVs, and then we'll have the big LED light board as well from Juan as well.
And a laser show.
Okay, yeah. So it is a watch
Drones.
party.
Say that, dude.
We will.
And then we're gonna do a drone show at the end. I don't know if
Oh
y'all
my
went to
God.
the
We
Dallas
will be
game, but
watching Austin
Beerworks is
destroy Colorado Rapids.
Yep.
Hell
And
yeah.
Because we're
Beerworks
going to
said
win
they're gonna do
every
a
single
drone show.
game for the rest of the season.
To go to playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Playoffs.
Yeah.
This is
But
this
before
is gonna
that,
be
have some beer.
We're gonna win 'em
the
all.
DC Miracle. It's gonna be the Fighting Pollo Pilz
Oh, it's a
beer
miracle.
that makes the miracle this time.
It's a miracle.
As soon as the beer drops, we just shut out every game.
Exactly,
From
and then we win the MLS
here
Cup.
out. Basically,
fucking
I've
whole
never
thing.
heard of Messi.
Hey, you know
We're
what?
gonna
I'm
win
not
the
a.
whole
What's the
damn
point of
thing.
living and you're not dying? Let's fucking go,
Exactly, dude.
God
It's gonna
damn
be
it.
great.
But with
And
you
it's
know,
all going to be because we did a beer.
Yeah.
We're going to win it all, and it's just going to be because we did a beer.
that's where it starts.
And then all the players are gonna have to thank us because we
Okay,
did this.
they don't
for
even have to. We're happy to do
just the
it.
community.
We're happy to
But
do it.
I want to ask Pollo a question. Pollo, what do you think?
Easy.
So that's what he said.
God, potty mouth.
What a potty mouth.
Jesus.
Yes, that's right. He said, "Let's fucking go." All right.
You said a lot more than that, but
He said a lot more than that.
Things that he says.
I'll translate it and I'll put it on captions.
Yeah, don't say all of it.
Don't say all of it, okay?
This
But
guy.
no, I appreciate you guys coming. I'm looking forward to to this awesome collaboration when it's released, and thank you guys for putting it together. It's great. I know this is one of those things that makes everybody feel like, God damn, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Just the fun shit.
hell yeah, always. It's puro show. That's how I say it. And one thing is, thank you for everyone that is listening to Otra, por favor. I appreciate you guys. And
Patreon. You support your Patreon.
I don't have a Patreon. I am gonna come up
Send
with.
Bitcoin.
Send me money and
take
I'll give it to
Bitcoin.
Richie.
I don't. So here's the one thing. Someone asked me. Actually, it's the first time someone asked me that in private, and I want to answer that publicly. My goal to if I ever I will eventually. You always want to make money, but make money from a company sponsoring you, and not make money from the consumer. The consumer shouldn't pay for your content.
Correct.
However, if
Correct.
I do have merch out there,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I'll sell it. But my goal is for the, a big company that they got money for them to pay for the sponsorship and everything else, and let the consumer just enjoy it.
I would love to wear a podcast shirt up there in the booth. That'd be cool.
Let's do it.
Thank you,
Yeah, let's
Richie,
do
it.
for all the help.
Hey,
Honestly.
that's
Thanks,
how we do
man.
it for, man.
Appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate you guys. Ahí se cuidan, se portan bien. Arriba el América. And I think Pollo had something for Trevor. Adios.
Adios.
Deuce.